Hi there, and welcome to the Play Creators Conference. Thank you for joining me for this panel session where we're delving inside the Toomies brand with the TOMY team. I'm delighted to be joined by TOMY's Tom Yamazaki, Design Manager.
Hello.
Helena Stacey, Senior Brand Manager for UK and EMEA. And Matt Jordan, Senior Product Designer. There we go. Thank you so much, guys. To kick us off, I think before we dive into all things Toomies, I'd love to know a bit more about how you guys found yourself working in toys, working with TOMY. So Tom, if we kick off with you, how did you find your way into the world of toy design?
Oh, I was really into science fiction movies and wanted to create robots and spaceships, and I wanted to, blasters. I wanted to be a designer for those kind of stuff, but I couldn't find a job for that. But instead, I found toy design jobs and applied, and I got one, and I fell in love with it since. Love it.
There we go. Still love it. Amazing. And Matt, what about you? How did you find your way?
Wow. Well, I started off wanting to be a transport designer, a car designer. And then as I kind of worked through that career path, I ended up landing in a product design job after graduation. And then, just pretty much from there, worked a little bit of toys, did a lot of merchandise. And then from there, I realized that toys are much more exciting, much more fun. I just found the job in TOMY, aligned with a couple of vehicle projects, and away we go.
I was going to say, so you're still able to work on cars even now? They're just slightly different.
It's better.
Exactly. Perfect. And Helena, in terms of how you ended up in the toy biz rather than any other industry.
Yeah, well, I was lucky enough to have a very important woman in my life who worked for Disney. She was a senior category manager over there, and I was, during my sort of university breaks, she'd bring me in to do 4 weeks, 6 weeks of sort of fill between interns. So I got sort of look into the consumer products side of things. So I sort of knew I wanted to get into that. And then TOMY was my first job out of university. So I started as a trainee brand manager 6 years ago and have been here ever since, and had great progression, and I love it here. So yeah.
Amazing. Good stuff. And a lovely, I'm yet to meet anyone I don't immediately love from TOMY. So it's lovely company. And so if we look at Toomies, and before we dive into some of the recent exciting sort of licensed brand partnerships, if we just focus on the brand itself for now, Helena, what would you say, is there any sort of, for anyone who might be new to the brand, how would you describe sort of what it stands for, some of the brand values? What does Toomies mean to in the world of toys?
Yeah, so Toomies is built on a foundation of heritage. So, TOMY is almost 100 years old, and Toomies came about, it is a rebrand of our TOMY toddler range, but really it's about sheer joy of play, that moment between parent and child, and the laughter and the memories they create together. When it comes to preschool toys, you're going to have learning and development a part of that, but what we stand for at Toomies is that the most important thing is that you're learning through fun and engaging ways of playing as a preschool. So built on sort of a foundation of surprise and laughter and ultimately trust, because it's built on our heritage.
Yeah, absolutely. And Tom, from a design point of view, what is some of the cool stuff that comes from designing for the brand? What are you thinking about when you're both creating new stuff, but also in the time that you've been working on the brand?
Well, we need to have a hook to capture the child's imagination and parents' attention, and that needs to be really unique, and it could be really quirky, but something instantly recognizable, and that's something we always look for.
Yeah, amazing. And Matt, from your point of view, when you're working on items in this range, you work on lots of different stuff across TOMY. So what makes this brand quite a fun one to work for? And is there a product, away from the stuff we'll talk about sort of later, is there a product that you worked on that you thought was a good introduction to the brand when you stepped in?
I'd say that a good introduction to the brand. I think hide and squeak eggs it's iconic. I had it when I was growing up. I don't think there's anybody that hasn't had it growing up. It hasn't really got walls, I suppose. It's like if we're working on internal stuff, there isn't really parameters. it's what, you know, we take on board what's fun and we try and encapsulate that into, you know, into objects. But when it comes to licensed product, I think, you know, we try and take key moments from those licenses and we try and put them in a place where, you know, we basically, parents can, you know, reenact those moments with their children. It's all about just capsulating that moment of fun, I guess.
Yeah, amazing. No, that's perfect, mate. And on that, Helena, I wanted to ask quickly about the eggs, which are, like I say, iconic. Everyone knows them, you know. And now, in terms of internally for you guys, that's been built out quite a lot now, isn't it? That's not just a solitary part of that brand. It's got its own range.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, it's, you know, they're almost 30 years old and they grow every year. Every year we pip the number of the year before, which, you know, we always ask ourselves, like, surely there's eggs everywhere across the globe. But yeah, no, last year, part of the directive to the design guys, or the year before last, was, you know, we have this, what can we do with it? How can we reignite the want for more eggs in different ways? So yeah, we've grown that out. So we have what is our extension range, which are bright, beautiful colours and in different play patterns of stacking and egg and spoon and nesting eggs. And then we have a wider range that are inspired by it, that kind of have now become like the gatekeep range for anything else we do, which is a complete connective system where the eggs can move across each other. And we went down birds, not just chicks. So there's that type of connection there. But yeah, it was really fun to work on and grow that out, and we've had some really great success with it, and a couple of new, what we're now referring to as classics, even a year in, because they're being recognised as something that's going to stick in our range for a long time.
Great. And Tom, on that quickly, on the eggs, from the outside point of view, you know, they're iconic. It's so simple. You know, when you're having to design spin-offs and new extensions and stuff like that, you know, what's your process? Where do you go from what is such an iconic product? How do you approach pulling it into different directions?
Well, our process could be really different. Some ideas come from brainstorms. My personal favorite way to work on is to sleep on it and take shower in the morning and think again, and then I come up with some good ideas. That's the timing, and then we draw up and present to each other.
Perfect.
We have constant brainstorm after brainstorm, and what tends to work is to present each other, and with a time limit, so that, you know, you feel kind of pressure, a little bit of pressure, and then bang. Nice,
perfect. Yeah. So if you see Tom sleeping in the office, then it's perfectly fine. It's part of the process. No one wake him. This is key. This is key to the next product. So yeah, let's move on to Jurassic Park and Jurassic World and this new line, collaboration with the guys at Universal. It's a really lovely looking line. One thing I want to look at, and I think, you know, from the outside, obviously there's lots of different strings to that brand. Some people love it for the dinosaurs. There's the thrills. There's, you know, the iconic characters, there's the scary element and all that sort of stuff. So for bringing that world to what is an iconic preschool brand, how did you guys go about making that fit? And Matt, if we kick off with you, you know, in terms of, from a design point of view, what made these worlds sort of fit in a nice way rather than clash?
I guess to begin with, we set parameters within ourselves. You know, I think there's a lot of negative connotations with things like zoos and things like that we wanted to try to avoid. We wanted this to kind of be fun, you know, a celebration of dinosaurs, effectively. And I think, you know, not just myself, Tom and Helena as well, we all sat down in a room. We, you know, we all basically came to the consensus that this should be if we were to pursue this further, you know, later on down the line, play sets, things like that, it should really be a park for dinosaurs. It's where the dinosaurs would go for a day out, a fun day out. And in that sense, you know, that aligns with what we believe for Toomies. You know, the fun of Toomies is everybody should be having fun, including the dinosaurs, I guess. And obviously it makes complete sense. We've got eggs, they're really successful. Dinosaurs come from eggs. There are a lot of iconic scenes where the eggs line up, and for us, I think it just made sense the more we thought about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And Helena, from your point of view, in terms of what parts of the brand to focus on bringing into Toomies, you know, how did that process work in terms of working with the guys at Universal, making sure that the right elements of the brand were brought along?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it really has been a co-brand effort. So what came from Universal was they wanted to have a dinosaur for every age, and preschool was something they'd identified as a category that was a little bit clear for them, and they came to us from that preschool point of view. So it was really nice to have a license say, or what could we do with dinosaurs to make it preschool. So for us, it was about honoring the dinosaurs. So dinosaurs are an evergreen theme in preschool, so that's like a no-brainer. It works for this age. They start loving dinosaurs from as little as 1, and it only intensifies. So that theme is there, but also you have the power of the license, so that's a great thing to have. But from a preschool point of view, and from our point of view, we wanted to make sure that preschool play was at the forefront, and that only the dinosaurs were part of the facilitating of that preschool place, and making sure that you had what's really important to Toomies, and what we talk about when we plan for Toomies in general, which is what elements can this be, can map to what age. What is the starting play? Is it sensory play that then becomes logic and problem solving, that then becomes role play, so you get growth with a product? And we don't want to turn that off just because we're applying a license to it. So it was how can we create a world like Matt said, where these dinosaurs can be and live, that removes the element of fear and thrill and the darker side of Jurassic, but encapsulates the fun of dinosaurs, the brightness of Toomies, and then also for parents who are our primary purchasers, where's the longevity of play that we offer in our Toomies range. So it's just making sure that we led with a preschool foot forward and followed it with the strength of the license behind it.
Yeah, absolutely. And then Tom, in terms of that whole range you've done, from your point of view in designing, was it a case that you look at what you've done with Toomies and you think, well, this fits in with that moment, you've got the Jeep, you've got the dinosaurs, you've got certain things? Or was it more, what led the other, in terms of, was it a case of saying, well, this is what we do with Toomies, and actually a dinosaur could fit into that sort of set? Or were you looking at Jurassic Park as being able to give you a totally new basis to do something with Toomies? So you think, we've never done that with that brand, and Jurassic lets us do that.
Well, first of all, again, it's a personal thing, but my son is 18 now. When he was 2, he fell in love with dinosaurs, and he absolutely wanted to watch Jurassic Park series and on TV. And I had to hide his eyes from scary scenes. So I knew Jurassic franchise works as a toddler toy. So that gave me great confidence. And as you mentioned, that Jeep, they are 4x4 vehicles that are recognizable from the franchise, which suits really well with Toomies range, because the 2020 original Egg expansion that we did was based on Egg characters and vehicles, like amusement park vehicles. So everything pretty much made sense from my point of view.
Yeah, perfect. And then Helena, was there something from a brand point of view as well, in terms of parents are probably, in terms of age, and Tom sort of alluded to it there, there's a lot of people who are probably having young families who were smack bang the right age to be there when the first films were coming out.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Like it's millennial age is where this sort of franchise falls into originally, and then you also have the reboot franchise that being sort of part of that as well, and they're having toddlers, and they've got little ones at that age. And I think that plays into us at Toomies as well, where we want that cross-generational, we want that play with parent and child, and what Jurassic offers is that like mini-me idea, where the parent wants to bring this thing they love so much to their little one who is getting into dinos. I know that I have I'm a massive Jurassic Park fan. In fact, I think when the boys showed me first, I squealed across the entire office. I loved it so much. And
I have so excited. Yeah.
And I have friends who have, I've got a friend who has a 5-year-old, and she is a massive fan of Jurassic, and she brought that to her. She introduced dinosaurs through Jurassic to her little one. So I think that's really nice to tap into, to offer something that has those fun little nods for those that know the movie, but they can safely and confidently bring a toy to their little one that they can be comfortable, that is offering them preschool play, and that just isn't a plastic dinosaur. It actually is something that they can play with, but also something they can share in. So yeah, it's really nice.
Absolutely. And Matt, I was going to ask, in terms of designing for brands and licensing and stuff like that, you hear lots of different things in terms of how brand owners treat their brands, and some are happy to let them breathe more than others and things like that. What strikes me with this range is that there must have been, from a design point of view, a bit of freedom, in the sense that, these dinosaurs don't obviously look exactly like the dinosaurs in the films. There's been sort of creative meeting in the middle between both brands. So is that an important thing from you as a designer, that, working with the Universal guys, there was that sort of, it's Jurassic, but you're allowed to, you're sort of being playful and putting a real Toomies stamp on it, rather than being pulled too far in one direction?
Yeah, completely. The guys were actually really, really helpful. Their understanding our approach to how we make toys. They understood completely that, some of the dinosaurs were especially more aggressive. You're thinking T-Rex, Raptor, and they knew that although they have got this aggression, they've got certain characteristics. The Raptor's often quite cat-like, and these characteristics, they were happy for us to play more on that and explore that option rather than go across the teeth and claw route. And yeah, it was fantastic. We were able to rebuild the brand basically, at a preschool level, and create relatively, iconic looks for the dinosaurs that are, completely new. It's something that has been literally built from the ground up, and it's been a fantastic process.
Yeah, amazing. And then Helena, on the brand side as well, is this sort of a case study? Is this a one and done in terms of Toomies and brand partnerships, or do you think the Toomies brand does lend itself to brand collaborations, and that might be a focus moving forward?
Oh yeah, absolutely. We have pillars at Toomies. So we have our hide and squeak pillar, we have our classic toy pillar, and then bath. And what we did over the last couple of years is establish a fourth pillar, which is what we refer to internally as Toomies X. So it's our cross-brand partnerships. And we started that with Pepper and our Pepper bath range, which has been incredibly successful. And then given the opportunity that came up with our conversations at Universal to build this amazing range, it definitely is something that we are growing out, and that we also have more than 1 year, and we're already working on year 2 of Jurassic in the background, and I think that's where we are. It's not as simple as, yes, we'll do license. It needs to be the right connection, because I think what's been so successful in both of our partnerships so far is building together, is carving out something that works for both of us, is leading with our preschool foot forward and following with the strength of a brand behind it, and it doesn't need to be full preschool category. In Pepper's case, it was they wanted to see what bath would look like for Pepper, so we went down that sort of more restrictive view. But it definitely, we want to be able to stand shoulder to shoulder with a license and provide them an offer, while also helping provide us with breadth of our brand as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll keep our eyes peeled for a topless Jeff Goldblum Toomies brand extension movie. Tom's working on that right now. He's got perfect stuff. And Tom, on that, one thing I wanted to ask you, in terms of having designed with TOMY for years, do you think the world of just licensed play and these sort of things is different, in terms of, you speak to some people in the licensing world, and years back they would say, some of this stuff is sometimes a bit cynical, or you find a logo, you put it there. Whereas it seems like at the moment, the collaborations we're seeing, both with what you guys are doing and other toy companies, it seems to have a lot of design at its core, and that they feel authentic and they feel playful. Is that something you've noticed in terms of just generally how brands are embracing the world of toys?
How do I answer that question?
Hopefully in a way that doesn't get you in trouble.
I think from my point of view, this project worked really well for us because we had our core, value with Toomies, and NBCU totally understood it. And, I felt they respect our core value. And we found a very good middle ground to go forward with, using both, respecting both sides of the value.
No, amazing. No, absolutely. It sounds like it's grounded in the relationship between you and the partner, and respect and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, and that absolutely comes through.
One of my last question.
Yeah, no, it does, and I don't think you're in trouble. I think we got away with it. And Helena, I'm interested. One thing that strikes me about the Toomies brand in general is that away from the partnerships, it's got a very strong identity. It's got very strong artwork. It's got a real look and a brand DNA. Do you think, in time there's scope to actually, for licensing, it could go the other way, that actually TOMY could license Toomies out into apparel or theme park rides or food and drink? Who knows? Do you think that could be a route forward down the line?
I think for sure. I didn't think theme park rides, but hide and squeak, like egg teacups, has just popped in my head. I'm like, this is brilliant.
You can have that one. That's it.
Yeah, but no, I do. It's definitely something that internally we have discussed as the brand team, because we have a couple of things that in hide and squeak being one of them that are kind of iconic, that are recognizable. So definitely, I think it's something that could be worked on from that point of view. And then from our other part of our portfolio, which is our bath, we have so many great bath toys, and we have ones that incorporate bubble and foam, and so a sort of health and beauty or kids bubble bath license would be fantastic there as well. So I think for sure we are getting to a point now where we've developed that look and feel and message that could definitely go to the right partnerships. But I think we treat it very much like we treat ones we step into from a license point of view, where it needs to be in a foundation of sense and the message is the same, and it's a respected partnership that makes sense for our brand and for our portfolio, for sure.
Absolutely brilliant. That's great stuff, guys. And the way I want to wrap up, especially after Tom confessed about his sleeping technique to get great new ideas, and that's his secret sauce. So I thought we'll find out from you guys as well. So Matt, in terms of what helps you sort of fuel your creativity, have ideas, top that sort of stuff up. Tom goes for a sleep. What do you find helps you in terms of this sort of stuff?
I'm not sure. Usually, I mean, I enjoy cooking, and I play a lot of basketball and things like that. But I think just generally, just making sure that you're in the right frame of mind. Like I'm quite I'm sure Tom will vouch for this. I'm quite a bubbly person, and I think if I don't maintain that, I think that's when the ideas start to kind of go downhill a little bit. I guess just making sure that you're in the right frame of mind every day, and good sleep. To line on Tom, good sleep goes a long way, I guess.
There we go. There's a theme. And Helena, in terms of you, and just in terms of staying creative and that sort of stuff, what do you find helps?
Mine's the people you surround yourself with. That's mine. The best of our ideas as a team come from when we're together, and I know for me, I get so much juice from being with the guys in our office, in our think tank, doing those sessions that Tom talks about, where no ideas too little or too big, and coming together, and I think for me, I go away energized by that, not just in the session but afterwards, and for me it filters into, because obviously I'm brand is what would this look like on an advert or in a print or anything like that. It carries on for me once I leave the brainstorm. But definitely being in a team like ours is where I get my juice, for sure.
Amazing. And Tom, was there anything else? I know I mentioned about the sleep earlier, but was there anything else? Are you thinking talking about the sleep? Actually, my top tip is this. Is there anything else that you find has helped you have ideas or gets you in that zone?
The greatest source of inspiration is definitely the teammates. Under Alpesh, we have two senior designers, Matt Jordan and Matt Bland, and they are two very talented designers. and with myself, 4 of us brainstorm very often. And it's like a little like a band. Alpesh is the front man, and we've got twin guitars, and I'm probably playing bass at the back. Yeah, James is the project manager, timekeeping, so he's like the drummer part. Yeah, so we have a chemistry of when we brainstorm, it's like songwriting process, and we're probably jamming session or something. Yeah, so it's the greatest source of inspiration, and we have guest musicians, can I say? Like we invite packaging team, marketing team, so that different brains bring different dynamics in the brainstorm, and that's usually how we get great ideas from.
Yeah, absolutely. Amazing. Well, thank you so much, guys. Like I say, the range itself looks great. I'm excited to see where it goes, and I appreciate you guys taking time out, so thank you for this.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Cool. Thanks.
That's great.